Hello, hello, hello. Seeing how you guys are doing. Seeing if you can hear me effectively. I'm still working on the mic update and making sure that it sounds pretty decent. So if you can let me know in the chat if everything sounds okay. It looks like the stream is doing well. No one's having dropouts or anything on the frame rate or anything like that. So everything actually looks steady, like we're good to go. But let me know in the chat, how's it sounding? Just to make sure we're good. Clear, a little bass heavy for me. I just said that. Fix that real quick. Test. Your mic is lower than your music. Can anyone join? Yes, anybody can join that. Absolutely. And I can knock the audio down just a hair. That should be closer. All right, how are we doing? Music's a little loud. How about the music now? Is that good? Test. 1, 2, 3. Rainbow Trends. Bitcoin. Bears are winning. Great. All right, I'm going to say that. Remind me next time, 35 decibels on the audio, and I got the noise gates off. We encourage everyone. So yeah, I'll cover that in a second and let you guys know what's up, because I wanted to get started on a few things, but I'll cover the weekly streams and all that stuff. But if you would be so kind, actually, let me find it. If you go ahead and retweet, that'd be much appreciated to get the views and the love out. That's our Twitch stream right there. And wow, that's awesome. It looks like the comments are actually working. That's awesome. Shout out Elon. It's finally kind of working. So we go ahead and get started. Let me actually try to kill the music real quick and show you guys this. I want to start with this.
I'm very bullish.
So this dropped today. I think I did this wrong, but this is your guy Fink. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
I'm very bullish on the long-term viability of Bitcoin.
I was going to say, did that surprise you?
That surprised me how much that's
Really?
gone up. I mean, look at it. It is. We're creating now a market that has more liquidity, more transparency, and I'm pleasantly surprised, and I would never have predicted it before we filed it, that we were going to see this type of retail demand.
So you thought you'd do good, but not this good.
I thought, yes. Yes,
well, IBIT is your ETF
yes.
over at iShares.
Yes.
It's about to overtake Grayscale, which was in the business certainly a lot longer. You look at the gains since January 11th when it first came about.
Yes.
Have you ever seen this much inflow this quickly into
IBIT is the fastest growing ETF in the history of ETFs.
So a couple things on that I thought were interesting is basically they knew it was going to be okay and work, but they didn't know it was going to be that big. It's blown the doors off on the volume. If you guys don't remember all the estimates back in the day, they thought we were going to be doing like 800 billion, 500 billion in like a month. And we're doing that like for a while. We were doing that daily. So keep that in mind. It's roughly the estimates were 30 times off. And it's the biggest ETF in all time. Fastest growing, etc. All the stats, metrics, blown the out. We finally onboarded retail. And what did crypto Twitter do in prompt fashion? Or not crypto Twitter, just crypto in general? We went straight to meme coin madness. So we're talking Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, and then like Joram Powell on the Solana network. That's what we did. So good job, guys. We finally got it. 10 years later, and we get literally Fidelity and BlackRock online, and we go straight to Bowden. The innovation and the tech, the real world applications are screaming. It's amazing. So, anywho, welcome to the Rainbow Trends weekly stream. We do this once a week every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you're asking yourself, it's Wednesday, what's going on? Family and I are going on vacation. We're going to go hit the beach up with the fam for Easter like we always do. So it was either do it tonight or don't do it at all. So thank you for showing up a day early. And if not, all this will be set up on the main website. YouTube will have a backup as well as Twitch. And to kick it off, if you're curious why on earth my charts are covered in rainbows, it's actual rainbow trends. About 10,000 lines of code we've been developing since like 2017, and we've got a very, very strong loyal base of kick butt traders that use it. It's not for everybody, but damn near anybody can find utility in it and increase their profits. So very, very, very special place in my heart for it, because this is how I figured out how to like start trading and do well. Is once I figured out that most of the tools out on the market were kind of just smoke and mirrors and like 20 lines of code. So anywho, check us out. I'm not going to plug it again, but check us out at rainbow-trends.com if you're curious about more about these tools, tutorials, etc. Also, click the link to the Discord. After the stream wraps up in about an hour and a half, we're going to head over to the Discord where we do roundtable. We turn off all the video recorders off on the streams, and then we just kind of have a smaller group discussion, and we hang out there where anybody can come in, say hello, drop a question, show a chart, and I just dropped this in the chat. If you guys, if you're on Twitter, you're not going to see that comment, but if somebody can drop it in the Twitter, that comment, that'd be great too. But either way, if you go to rainbow-trends.com, the link's up here at the top. You can hop on the Discord and come say hi. And we're actually about to break 1,000 people in the Discord, which started like 2 years ago. So awesome. So anyway, I think that was it on that one. But let's check out where the flows are at. You know, guys, I'm not a flow guy, but I can't stop looking at flows for Bitcoin, because as long as the whales are buying, I'm very, very, very bullish. Frankly, there's not enough supply. And right now, numbers are coming in. ARK is super, super hot. And if you're not familiar with this website, we'll drop it in the chat. And let me pull up the chat real quick in Twitch. Or Twitter. I'm sorry. I have to. There you go. I can do it now. I have to do a separate chat thing for Twitch. It's kind of unfortunate. Or Twitter. It's unfortunate. Hopefully they'll get all that figured out. So Elon, get us on Mars and maybe fix this too. Yeah, I can't use dark mode on here. We'll have to talk to Farside, but I plug them a lot. But anyway, if you're not familiar with this is the tool I reference. Set alerts on their Twitter page. These flows come in automated per their API handouts. So every single exchange, if you don't know, or not exchange, every ETF has to report their numbers daily. And when the data comes in, this website picks it up off their website, or this website picks up the data off their off their website stuff and posts it here. So far, Grayscale dumped another 300 million today. But ARK B came in hot, almost an all-time. That is an all-time high for ARK. That's the maximum they've ever done, and they've almost negated Grayscale completely. For a while, last week, we had 5 days of negative flows overall. Grayscale dumped, and the others really didn't pick it up. Yesterday, it actually looks like they updated some of this stuff here. Yeah, they added DeFi. Ugh, that's not good. But either way, Fidelity's been coming in hot the past 2 days. And today, Fidelity only came in with 1.5 million. That's probably a low, but either way, hopefully Grayscale comes in hot, or BlackRock comes in hot. But keep in mind, miners right now are only making like 900 Bitcoin per day. And when we see flows of like 400 million like we saw yesterday, that's a lot. Way more than the miners make, as well as hold on one second. I'm losing my train of thought because I wanted to pull up the website. Yeah, we've got 22 days left. At right now, miners are making 900 Bitcoin per day. In 22 days, that switches over to 450-ish Bitcoin per day that'll be produced and be able to purchase. So if we go back into the afterburner sessions where we actually we're breaking $1 billion, there's going to be a supply crunch, and people are finally starting to talk about it. I thought I was crazy talking about there's going to be a supply squeeze on the exchanges. And I actually saw this posted up by Freeman in the Discords. Bitcoin held on Coinbase Exchange reaches a 9-year low. 9-year low of custody on Coinbase. So, in short, I don't know where the exchanges are actually going to be able to facilitate. If BlackRock and Fidelity hit the afterburners and we start doing consistent billion-dollar days, maybe even more than that, I don't know where it's going to come from. Price isn't just going to hang around at $70,000 and they're going to keep finding Bitcoin in all the nooks and crannies at the Coinbase exchanges. I don't know where the North American exchanges are going to get it, frankly. So add that on top of the miners' supply getting cut in half in roughly 3 weeks. We've got good things coming. In addition to that, our big friend here, Grayscale, this column here where all these red, where they're dumping $300, $200, $400 million of Bitcoin every single day, dumping on the market while the others try to scramble and eat it, he's running dry. And I made this sheet a while ago. I need to update it again. But long story short, it tracks overall, kind of looking at when is the projection of when Grayscale is going to actually run to zero. Now, I did a big segment on this on the last stream. There's a lot of gross assumptions here. I know it's not going to stay linear. I know Barry's not going to go all the way to zero. But with the data that I have and averaging it all out, what's the projection? Likely Grayscale is done and wrapped up sometime in like June, July timeframe, would be my guess. This could draw out, but if it draws out, he's going to get thinner in the books of what he can do damage wise. So it's actually kind of either way. Summertime, I think Barry runs dry. And then these quit dumping on the market. So the Grayscale supply of Bitcoin for Fidelity and BlackRock dries up, and then the miners get cut in half. And right now he's dumping like 10 times what the miners produce daily, 5 or 10 times, whatever it is. So I'm going to keep updating this and keep tracking it as we keep going along. If you see here on the left side, he actually started with over 600,000 Bitcoin in the Grayscale Trust that he's dumped. And now he's below 400,000. So he's dumped an ungodly amount of Bitcoin on the market. And guess what? We're not at 15. We're not at 20. We're not at 30,000. We're at all-time highs still. So keep that in mind. And if you want to track it yourself, CoinGlass kind of does this kind of data. It doesn't do any forward projections, but you can actually go to Grayscale's ETF website itself, and these numbers are updated daily, and you can actually see how many Bitcoins he has. So end of last week, it was 380,000. As of today, is this updated? Yeah, 327 today's date. Yeah, 327. He's down to 340,000 Bitcoin. We're closed on Fridays. I don't think we're going to hit 200,000s, but probably next week or the week after that, this will easily get into the 200,000s, which is really, really good for us, because he's not going to get to zero, but he is going to get to the point where they quit dumping 300 billion on the market. And if they can quit dumping $300 billion on the market every damn day, I've got the tool magnet thing on. This is great. Sorry, I just blew up my charts with pivots. Hashtag pro streamer. If they quit dumping on the market, this is number go up type of thing. I don't know how you could really justify it. I mean, it goes down to the basics. Is the guy who's been dumping on the market since this candle, I think it was this one. Was it? I forgot the ETF date. I took it off. When did the ETF days launch? If someone knows in the chat, let me know, because I can't Google it real quick. It was 48K? Yeah, so they launched, that's what it was. There it is. That whale print here, shout out whale prints. They dumped on the market on the ETF opening, went sideways for like a week, and then we've been on a bull run ever since. So they've dumped like 200,000 Bitcoin, and we started at like 48, 50,000, and then we've gone all the way up to 71,000 and broke all-time high. We broke the all-time high with Barry dumping on us. And mind you, I say Barry, it's not really his, it's just the people that are in his fund selling on the market openly. But lower time frame, if you look at this, if you want like my gut TA on this, I'm real big. I was really big, and I am really big on this order block. I was super, super, super big on these order blocks down here when we were trudging through the bear market and crushing it mentally, physically. I joke. It was an awful time, but we still crushed it. This was our support. This was our resistance, and we tagged it multiple times. But once we got out of this, I really started like telling basically the stream and the chats, like I'm out of ideas of how this could go bad, short of atoms starting to split in a area where two countries are going at it. I don't want to get perma Twitch banned again if you can't tell. And we've just been going up ever since. You could come in and talk and say, I mean, I guess I'm gonna get to that later, but you can have some bear theses for sure. Worst case scenario for me that I would really entertain would be like a recheck of like 50K, which would be like a 30% pullback. Frankly, if we get a 30% pullback going into this halvening, which is happening April 20th approximately, I'm just gonna keep buying spot. And I forgot, since speaking of buying spot, this stream is intended for educational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as financial advice. Everything you see here is actually an art stream. Even if it was to be mistaken for financial advice, you should consider this awful financial advice and look at all these colors and think this dude's crazy. He's talking about whales and Alameda and all this other stuff. But anyway, back to the stream. I think that's maybe the retest. You can see some of the significance here of these peaks and valleys where it's been touched multiple times, like roughly 48K. 50K is a pretty good number psychologically as well. But that's where I'm at with it. I'm just going to buy and I don't care. Long term, do I think I'm going to regret prices in the 60s, 50s, $70,000 purchases a year from now after the halvening? I feel pretty good here. There's bear talks of like, oh, what if Satoshi shows up and there's another 21 million? Well, that's really stretching it, and you probably have a ponytail bun. So keep that in mind. That's where I'm at with Bitcoin. We're going into the halvening. Grayscale is roughly going to be running out of Bitcoin sometime this summer. The ETF approval for Ethereum is coming up in like May. Albeit I'm not as excited about that one. I don't think it's as in the bag as some of the others, and we can touch on that real quick and shortly. Regardless of that, Ethereum also, if you've noticed my amazing chart, which is marked up for lower time frame tweets. There we go. We're back up in the order block, and we've made all our way up to here. Volume's been steadily increasing. BlackRock's kind of announced that they're coming hard on Ethereum. They put $100 million of Ethereum in a wallet so that they could start doing their other project or whatever it was called. It's like they're going to start tokenizing real world assets on Ethereum and push it through in some type of offering, which is just cool. Seeing BlackRock being capable of doing like launching stuff on Ethereum is pretty interesting. Them coming out and not doing something random on some odd coin makes a lot of sense. So regardless, Ethereum came up, hit the second pivot at 4,059, and then it kind of rejected it, nuked, and it's kind of going sideways. Frankly, it's been really laggy compared to Bitcoin for a while. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's already cleared out the all-time high resistances and order blocks. Ethereum hasn't yet. But with that being said, if Bitcoin just takes off and we start going towards like 80K, it's going to be kind of hard for Ethereum to just hang out in the fours at previous all-time highs, or below the previous all-time highs. With that being said, oh shoot, I didn't put it in my list of things to show you guys today, but I have it available. this is the ETF approval deadline map or calendar. So if you want to screenshot that bad boy, the spot ETF approvals, the first one is the VanEck Ethereum ETF, and it's coming up on May 23rd, which is roughly a month and a half away from now, which is really not that far away. Long story short, we're going to get into the halvening, and then about a month later, we're going to find out if Gary's going to approve the ETF for Ethereum. So with that being said, oh yeah, right, 2 months. Sorry. Well, no, it's 3 days. Whatever. It's getting kind of closer to that that timeline, and if I don't, all I'm gonna say is that's probably a really, really good date to mark in your calendar. Gary cannot extend past a final deadline. He cannot come out and say, no decision today, I'm going to kick it down the court. 5/23/24, that's the last day that he can say yay or nay on the spot ETF approval for this one. And if he says no on this one, he's probably going to say no on all of them. And then people are going to go up in arms and get mad about it. With that being said, that's a really good time if Ethereum is just absolutely crushing it and we go into 5/23 or maybe 5/22, you put in your stop losses pretty damn tight. That would be a really wise thing to do. We've come up a very, very long way from like $800, $900 all the way back up to $4,000. If you got any action in here, don't give it back to him. The market's really, really emotional right now. This could easily dump pretty bad. You can see there's not really a pivot below 3,600 until like 2022. So we don't want to ride that down if it happens. The market may just not care and say, you know what, it's cool. We just have a Bitcoin ETF. I'm okay with that. We don't really know yet. But what I'm saying is that's a day for sure that I know volatility is coming. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's not going to approve before. He can't approve after. Well, he can't approve. He can say no, and then they refile and they drag him back to court, which very, very well may happen. And the reason I say that, Fidelity updated their spot Ethereum ETF with staking included. Why on earth would Fidelity update their ETF application to add staking like 2 months before the approval deadline? SEC's kind of mentioned or has talked about this a few times in the past, and they've talked about it recently too. They see Ethereum 2.0 differently from Ethereum 1.0. So the proof of work versus proof of stake, and then proof of stake adds staking, which I agree the ETF should have like staking, because that's like the main point, one of the main points, like benefits of cool things about Ethereum. But this jeopardizes your approval timeline, and I'm not really sure why they do that unless they think the writing's on the wall that it's going to get approved, period. Or maybe they think the writing is on the wall that it's none of this is going to get approved anyway. We might as well put our foot in the door for this. So I don't really know, and I don't really care. All I know is that 5/23, that's when it's important. So anyway, thank you, Pantalga, for noticing the microphone, and I hope it sounds okay with the noise gate off. I'm going to see if that fixes my chopping issue. So shout out Tom Crown for talking filters with me, because that's been a hell of a journey. But anyway, this was today. This was kind of a big deal. And then also, there was a judgment today as well. The U.S. judge allows the SEC claim that Coinbase failed to register as a security business, court ruling. This news article was the shot heard around the world that spooked the markets. If you're asking yourself, why on earth was there a low time frame Darth Maul? It was that news alert right there. And I'll cover that in a second. This is that Darth Maul. Price was ripping up, and then the news came out that the court was going to allow that. And then the market kind of got shook out, and then we started posting Darth Maul memes as tradition, right? Well, the truth be told, this isn't shocking at all. This is shocking in no way. And frankly, it doesn't affect Bitcoin. This is only in regards to altcoins. which is fair. The courts have not really ruled yet that all the crypto assets in the world are securities or commodities, right? That hasn't happened yet. So for sure, this is kind of a news reaction, and it wasn't priced in or whatever, blah 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 blah. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Is it a shocker, a big blow to the industry? No, not really. We were expecting to take Gensler to court to figure out once and for all, is Zcash a security? We don't know. And that's what this is about. This is about the altcoins. Right now, the courts have already ruled Bitcoin's not a security. You don't have to worry about this. It's good to go. Now, with that being said, there was also a win. The judge dismisses that the SEC claimed that Coinbase acted as an unregistered broker via a wallet application. If you guys have heard Pep and Stacks talking in the Discord about its base season, they've been degenning on the Coinbase wallet app with Base. And that's kind of what this is talking about. Coinbase developed their own wallet that's integrated into the Base chain, and you can sit there and do on-chain trading on a wallet. And what the court is saying is SEC, you're saying that Coinbase wasn't acting as an unregistered broker by creating a crypto wallet. And the judge says, no, they're not an exchange. So it's kind of an interesting foot in the door in a legal precedent saying, hey, on-chain wallets are not exchanges, which is really cool because that means they can't be sued as an unregistered broker. So good news, bad news. Did it shake the market out and spook a lot of people? Yeah. And the market's recovering. So, people want to get like super bearish. Oh my God. We're just nuking. It's the end of the world. We fell like a few percent and hit $68,000. I remember doing the streams to like 20 people 6-8 months ago at like below $20,000. So I'm not really fazed by that type of price action. I'm really not. Frankly, I added some bags because why not? I got a pullback. Everyone's been crying for a pullback. That's a little bit of a pullback. So keep that in mind. And to be clear, I'm team in regards to these court cases of Coinbase and SEC. I am team Paul Grewal. I don't know how to say his last name perfectly, but that is the face that you guys need to know. That is the head of legal at Coinbase. This is the guy that goes and makes Gary Gensler cry in court in front of a judge. So shout out Paul, big fan. And I tweeted at him today, bonus points if you make Gary cry in court, because that would be awesome. Now, with that being said, we're now also starting to hear rumblings that Litecoin and Bcash are going to get spot ETFs approved. And I'm kind of numb to it. I think gun to my head, not that this maybe is a hunting stream. I don't really care outside of the Ethereum and the Bitcoin ones. I don't think you're going to see flows of any real sort on Litecoin or Doge or whatnot. Like, that's the other thing. They're talking about Doge ETFs. It's nifty. It's neat. I don't think you're going to get billion-dollar flows on some of these altcoins. Frankly, the volume of Bitcoin versus Litecoin right now, there's a reason it's called an altcoin. I think you could get it approved. I don't think you're going to see the steamrolling. Maybe the whole market goes degen and just starts wanting altcoin ETFs, and maybe that's a thing. But until then, I don't really know why that would be. I'm kind of just hesitant for it, needless to say. But if it does happen, I think this is the roadmap for it. And if you go back to the 2022 Canadian buy limit rules, long story short, crypto was legalized or whatever in Canada, but there was limits to which coins they could buy certain volumes of. And they created a very, very simple list in which ones they allowed as the Canadian Security Administration, the CSA list of this. And I'm not big on Canadian crypto, but I think this is the roadmap that if we were to go and get ETF approvals for alts, I think this is the roadmap we're going to get. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bcash, Doge. Notice the typo. Maybe it's for Dodge. Maybe they're really pro-diesel. Don't really know. But I think that's how it would roll out. And yes, I'm stretching Canadian laws into American, but that always stuck out with me was the Canadian limits, because I think, if there's any Canadians, you guys are gonna have to let me know. I think it's $5,000 or it's like $15,000. Anything over that, it has to be, if you want to spend 20 grand on crypto, it has to be one of these 5. So we'll see. I mean, BlackRock is so excited about Ethereum and what they can do with it, with on-chain assets and all this other stuff. Maybe Fink is really, really bullish Doge and wants it. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe that's where the market's going to go. I'm not going to hate it. I don't think you guys are really going to see some crazy, crazy things like $1 billion of inflow on Bcash. Maybe though. Frankly though, since we're onboarding TradeFi, man, definitely spoon feed these people coming in. Litecoin, Bcash, that's really easy stuff to sell them. Don't try to sell them Bowden and Jerome Powell misspelled and Trump. This stuff's easier to sell. Oh, Bcash, and it's cheaper. Awesome. Render token, that sounds cool. You know, that stuff like that, not just cartoon pictures. So that's just my thought. Today, actually, Bcash shot up really, really, really high, and I heard some people talking about some news regarding to that is potentially the hash rates dropping off on Bitcoin. And I looked at it today. It's not huge drop off. We're still pushing this curve up, which is good, but maybe the miners are starting to drop out. I'm not really sure. With that being said, when the halving does hit in April 20th, a lot of mining hardware is going to become unusable. And well, you can still use it. It's just going to be non-profitable is the proper term. And if it's non-profitable, they're not going to use it. But maybe you start seeing the current Bitcoin equipment mining hardware getting switched over to Bcash. I don't really know. But to dive in a little bit into some heavy hitters, I've shown you guys Bitcoin, where I'm at with Ethereum. I don't really track Ethereum and Litecoin. If you look, this is kind of the chart I've been looking at, and a few others have picked up these channels. We had a channel walk down that went below the order block, and then it shifted and then continued the channel at the exact same kind of angle. Just how I see these, how they work. You get an established channel, it bumps over, and then they keep going the same direction. And then finally they busted up and out of it, retested it kind of, and then they started shooting back up. Now we are higher or lower high, but we were trucking right before that news case broke out. Did the whales know? Who knows? But maybe they were doing a pump and dump. But regardless, it's 8:30. We closed the daily above these like 68, 69,000. I'm not concerned. We start closing dailies below this all-time order block, I'll get a little weirded out and a little scared. Just being real. But we've already gone above it, and I want it to be kind of the base. If we can keep closing candles above this all-time high order block, that's your base for the next bull run. And then this is kind of like where you're going to get started. And the halving kicks off that bull run. So maybe this time's different, but I don't think so. The one thing that is different, though, and something I need to shout out Doppel for bringing up some DMs that were really cool to focus on. You've got to be careful with precedents. I know I talk a lot about never been done before territories and precedents and stuff like that with TA, with colors and stuff like that. But Luna hit, and Luna took us beyond white candles. Bitcoin broke an all-time high this year before the halving, which has never happened before. A lot of people blew up a lot of powder shorting this. And they kept doubling down, and their emotions got the worst of them, and they started seeing stuff in the charts that made them think they were going to be right, and whatnot. So being real with you guys, there is a lot of stuff in these charts. There's a lot of signals. There's a lot of dirty games that the whales do, and you can see what they're doing, etc. There is totally. But FA also matters, and precedents change. My favorite quote is Josh Olowik saying, "Is history doesn't repeat, but it definitely rhymes." 100% rhymes. So if you keep betting against and doubling down against something that's never been done before, eventually you're gonna get wrecked. Rules are kind of meant to be broken. So when you keep betting on the probabilities that it's a 90% chance it doesn't get broken, yeah, you can do well. But if you keep betting on that rare 10-1 and going against the grain, you're gonna get destroyed. And the reason I bring this up, we're just a few weeks from the halvening. This is the last point of the cycle where you 100% do not need to destroy your powder. This isn't the time to be crazy leveraged. This isn't the time to be crazy and exposed. This is the time to, like, your last real chance to, like, pack your bags. I've been talking about, since we broke here, I've said, hey, this is really the last kind of chance to pack your bags. And I've just been bagging spot stuff from here and then doing some alt trading along the way. I haven't touched my Bitcoin and I haven't touched my Ethereum. I've just been adding to them. And that sounds really boring compared to a lot of the alts that have been running and, like, people flipping Solana meme coins and stuff. But to me, that's a distraction, and I think that's temporary. Maybe we trade Bowden memes for 3 years. Maybe. But to be honest, I thought hamster racing was going to last way longer than it did. So I'm kind of shocked the Bowden stuff's gone this far. I'm not mad by it, but it's just, you want to talk about, like, sustainability. I'm more interested in, like, render and Ondo narratives than, like, cartoon memes. I don't think the cartoon stuff's going to stay around. I mean, like, yeah, we've got blue chip meme coins now. Blue chip meme coins. I actually said that sentence. You've got, like, your Doges and your Shibs, your OGs. You got these new stuff that's just kind of funny, but people are just creating coins left and right. There's rugs left and right, and you don't want you guys getting rugged. I know Bitcoin is, like, very boring right now to you guys, especially if you're like, well, if it's 70K here and it only goes to 140, sure, real sure, that's not super exciting. But if you went all in on munchies or whatever it was this week and got rugged by North Korea and you have no more powder, this is the awful time to not have powder. Spot Ethereum and spot Bitcoin, like, long term, are really going to help you out. Like, you want, like, Tom Crown's thing, shout out Tom. He's like, hey, how do I make it in crypto? And he's just like, DCA Bitcoin. That's it. Just buy Bitcoin every day. You'll be fine. Well, that's boring. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe you buy $300 of the next greatest meme coin and you make tons of money. Definitely can. But just keep that in mind. Have your bags packed in stuff that's for sure things and safe things. You could have, like, 90% boring spot bags and then go degen as hell with the 10% of your portfolio and something like that. And if it all blows up, who cares? You took a 10% hit, right? It's not that big of a deal. Just keep it real. That's all I'm saying. The other part of this I kind of wanted to talk about. This one's hard. I don't want to call people out, and you know that's not me. That's kind of a bad vibes thing. But I see a lot of stuff where people are trying to emulate their idols. And I wanted to focus on something with that as well. And this was kind of in reference to what I was talking about with my man Dop. You can think, and there's a lot of LARPs out there. There's a lot of people that are fake. There's a handful of them that are real. There's a lot of people that Photoshop PNLs. There's a lot of people that do really shady stuff. I mean, is what it is. I mean, frankly, I sell trading tools that look crazy. That kind of looks odd. I know that at times, but we're still standing 3 years later, and I've got people that have been with me since day one that still subscribe, and they've made better gains with it. So I'm very passionate about that because I put in years of work to code the stuff and make something that's real. Because I found out, like, all these people were, like, LARPing and faking stuff and making, like, indicators that, like, look really cool but don't really trade. So that's why I actually learned, like, a lot of how to code. So I want you guys to be aware that everyone's trying to sell you smoke and mirrors. And I'm telling you that as someone who actually sells a product. And I'm not calling out people. There's people that have really good tools too. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of people that do really, really good presentations on stuff that they sell, as well as like their trading courses and their methods and whatnot. And they paint it all perfectly as the greatest things ever. And it's infallible. The hand of God touches the charts, and they're billionaires, right? There's a lot of that out there, and there's a lot of new people coming into this, and they're gonna fall for the same trap, because I went through it all and tried to backwards engineer, and I'm like, man, this stuff doesn't make sense, what he's saying. And then, you know, lo and behold, a month later, you find his Zach XBT thread where he's been faking it, and it was a fake paid group, and everything was a scam, and da-da-da-da-da. Long story short, 98% of the stuff in crypto Twitter's a LARP, 2% of it's real, and that 2% is what I want to focus on. There's a handful of just absolute badasses, and they're better than me. I'll never be as good as them, and I know that. But the fact that I know that I can't do what they do is key. I had to build a rainbow system for me to trade. I could not trade normal charts. I couldn't do it. I made some crazy stuff and started chasing wells, and it ended up working. And then lo and behold, a lot of people started asking me about how I trade colors, and an unplanned company got started. So what I'm saying is I know I can't emulate TraderMain. I know I can't emulate 9K. I know I can't emulate all these like legendary badasses, but I can learn bits and pieces from them. What I want you guys to avoid is thinking that like you have this idol who's a trading god, and by God, there are some trading gods out there, but you're not that guy. You can't emulate them 100%, and it's nothing against you. I know I can't. If I could just emulate these like awesome badass dudes who can just print, I'd be fishing every day and posting crypto Twitter memes from a fishing boat. But what you can do is learn from them and improve yourself, and then make the best version of you. Like, I know I'm never going to outrun Usain Bolt, no matter what reading article or what running article I find. No matter how much training, I'm never going to win a gold medal. It's just not in the books. But I can become a better runner, and I can be a better runner for me. And that's kind of the point of trading. You have to find out what works for you. And right now, there's a lot of people that are following some of these guys and taking their trading courses and all this other stuff, and they're trying to apply these like golden rules that in their head they think are 100% infallible, and they're getting blown up. So I'm probably gonna get some flack for this. Like I said, I'm not calling people out. I just worry for you guys, the new guys into the generation. I don't want to see you guys blow up right now. I don't want to see you guys get frustrated. Find out what works for you and absorb into your trading strategies like everything that you love. Like all the stuff that you see me layer in and build to like all this code, it's stuff that I found and stuff I found from like my favorite traders. Like part of these tools are legit Josh Olowicz. There's pieces of in here that are legit Doppel, Malifestro, Crypto Paradigm. There's stuff in here you don't know, but there's pieces that I've learned from like these traders that are real traders, and I've added it to the toolkits, and I use that to like help me. So that's my rant. That's my ramble that I wanted to touch, because frankly, like there's some really sad DMs that I get, as well as some other friends, some OGs of mine, that they're getting sad DMs that there's people like super frustrated, and they're shorting this stuff off of these technical like setups that they believe are like 100% golden. Just remember, nothing's for sure. Nothing's 100% golden, and just don't burn yourself out. Because what'll happen is you'll think something's perfect, and you'll go study it for years and apply your art and your craft to it, your time, and time is short. So just realize like what's possible as far as like your expectations. A lot of it, like I referenced, is like TraderMain. Like TraderMain is very, very good. I studied TraderMain for a very, very long time. I can't see order blocks. My eyes cannot see them. He can, but I can't. So I had to like make computer code to like see order blocks. And like, even with this, I'm still never going to be as good as him, but I definitely can use basic order block support resistance to help me trade. So that's something like I automated and brought back to me and tried to implement this. This was actually one of the references. Like, you see these dash lines, that's Doppel trying to get me to do order blocks with code. So that's my rant. You can tell I'm breathing a bit heavy because it's very passionate, but that's just real. There's no guidebook you can buy there's no secret tool that's going to give you perfect trading, infinite stuff. Even if there was a tool that you could make that had 99% accuracy and just printed money, you can't get access to it. The whales have it, and it's billions of dollars to get it. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, that's my rant, and wanted to just tell you guys where that's at, because there are people, friends, family, OGs, all these people that I've known for a very long time that absolutely killed this. And then you're seeing some guys where the market's actually getting into easy mode and they're blowing up. And I hate seeing that right before the halvening. ETFs are online. The halvening's coming. The volume's here. The market is where you don't want to go against the crowd and get edgy and try to apply like obscure metrics and stuff to it. And like I said, I'm not calling out anyone in particular. I'm just noticing the uptick in the DMs and the stuff that I'm finding and seeing people like blowing up trying to short this stuff. Because it's like the type of the market that we're getting in now, dude, it took ungodly amount of brain power to trade this. It was hard. Now we're going into a halvening with an ETF, and it's just literally been number go up. And people are still blowing up on this. And it just, I hate it. Because you should never be exposed to blow up. Like, it just shouldn't be a thing. You should be exposed to cold wallets, multiple exchanges. We don't want FTX 2.0 to happen at a different website. Just don't blow up. If you can survive the crypto game long enough, you're going to get out of this and not have to answer to anybody and live in a cubicle. That's kind of the goal. So anyway, rant over. Let's take a look at Doge. Doge is moving. Thank you for bringing that up. I instantly want to start talking Wyckoff now that I see this and think SOS. And frankly, guys, to me, we saw all these meme coins with like Whiff, and all these others, like memes really started taking off, and then we didn't see Doge take off. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? Why isn't SHIB waking up? And I've been saying this for months, and I kept seeing this and getting disappointed. And then, boom, hit. We actually hit the reversion bands for F's sake. And guess what? I wasn't long. I missed it. It kept coming to me. I'm like, are we really just going to watch with an actual Shiba dog? Like, go to $3 or $4 and then just Doge isn't going to respond? It was a really weird delayed reaction. I'm be honest with you. Like, I was kind of weirded out by it. But maybe it's Doge's time. Doge is finally waking up, because the thing about like the Doge and the memes, they don't really just grind. They wake up and go hard, and it just really hasn't until about, you can obviously see the volume impulse here, but still, yeah, it's starting to go. Maybe we get the Doge dollar bill club. That's kind of one of the things you're seeing, kind of the OGs like Don Alt and like Crypto Paradigm. They're like, yeah, this isn't as sexy of a trade, Doge, but pretty sure this goes to $1, maybe beyond. Whiff may just blow up. We don't know, but you got to realize like Whiff has done insane things. Disregard that. Whiff has already done 3,900%. So there's a really good chance that like maybe that was already the run, right? It's rolling over, kinda. It's been impressive to say the least. Now, you know, I'm not a meme guy. I'm not a meme metric guy. I can't judge what has the best hat. But what I'm saying is I was kind of shocked this ran for so damn long, and like Doge didn't fire back. I really thought Doge guys would really come back and get it going. So anyway, but let me catch up on chat real quick, because I went on a rant and that stressed me out a very good bit. 3 years since launch, man. Fletch, I think we are 3 years. I've got some subscribers from like 2019, and they're still with me. So if there's anything of that, like someone subscribing to Rainbow Trends for like 3 or 4 years is pretty insane. Do you think some of the tools on TrendSpider are fake? I don't really. I think that's with Bevish. To answer your question, I think every tool has its benefits, but the problem is there's a really, really good amount of indicators that look amazing in hindsight. So they gave you the right signal with the right accuracy, but the signal comes too late. So what you'll see happen, and like you'll see me like kind of be tongue in cheek when there's like hindsight Wyckoff guys, because there's really like 2 or 3 Wyckoff guys that can actually trade Wyckoff live. In my opinion, like there's very few. Wyckoff is one of the coolest things ever, but the majority of crypto Twitter can't chart it live. They post these awesome like TA charts like after the breakout, and they're like, you didn't get long at the SOS and blah blah blah, and like double your leverage on the spring. You know, what was it? That's a thing, right? There's these Wyckoff accumulation ranges, and I'm going back to the Toyota Motor Corporation, but this was one of them. It's I need the Asian ticker. What am I thinking of? CPDNA. Mally, or if anybody in the chat knows a really good hindsight Wyckoff chart, let me know. But regardless, just default accumulation schematic here, whatever. Usually what happens is by the time price is up and out of it, that's when you start seeing the crypto Twitter people start posting about like Wyckoff accumulation, but they didn't get long in any of the ranges. I'm sorry. Let's go back to Link. Link was the textbook one. Link is also the reason I'm freaking long Aave, and Aave still hasn't really woken up yet. But to me, and to a lot of other people, Link was like stereotypical textbook Wyckoff. You can even see my markups here, which I don't even do very often. But hindsighters, the people that post the Link Wyckoff charts, they got long up here and didn't get long down here or anywhere inside this range. And that's the problem with a lot of indicators. The indicators that give you like 90% accuracy, they tell you the long was down here by the time price is up here, and you can't trade it. So that's why like I focus on the Rainbow Trend suite. Like I focus specifically on not leading, not lagging. In the moment is the signal I like. Because if you can actively see what the hell the whales are doing, like right now, I can actually trade on it. The other side of that is leading indicators, that they see this data and they try to tell you what's going to happen over here weeks in advance, and their accuracy is just poo-poo. Trying not to cuss. Their accuracy is really, really awful. And it's just because you're trying to tell the future. And it's really not... It's just, you can't really do it. But you'll see, like, these are live signals, like, never been done before, like rev bands. That's why they're so damn powerful when you see, like, Pixa tearing these up. Like, that's a live signal with a live boundary that we know the limit of, and then you actually see price react to it. So that's why I try to explain to people when they're like, was Rainbow Trends like leading or lagging? It's not either. It's really focused on the now. And if you can focus on the now, you can catch your bounces, and you can catch your white candles going into the rev bands, and you can get your bounces. These things are god awful to trade because they're motion heavy to buy wicks like that, but that's 100% move on SHIB when no one wanted to buy down here. So that's kind of my rant there. And I hope that answers your question, Bev. Tiger Woods would hit it better with a stick than a golf stick. And Bruno, I wish for your other question. Maybe one day we'll get that going back again. And thank you, Aslan, for the rant confirmation, because sometimes I just go off and don't know where it's going. You think the dog has a nice hat, though? The other day in the Discord, I didn't realize it till way, way late, but Malifestro has a damn hat on his samurai. And I did not notice that until way too late. But yeah. He's got the whiff hat on the samurai in the Discord. So I feel embarrassed because it's probably been there for weeks before I notice it. But anyway. Aave. Yeah, let's go back and look at Aave. Good point. Man, we can try to look at Sailor. Is it even on TradingView? Let me check Aave. Aave was the Wyckoff chart that I traded live and started getting long here when I thought this was the SOS and I was wrong. We got it that it was an actual accumulation range, but it did another leg. I was a month early. And I've been sitting on a very large bag of Aave while other things have just run, but I am in profit. So, woohoo. Goal here is still to hit this order block at like 160 and then like 270, but we're just not there yet. This thing's been really, really slow. It's flat out. It's the link chart. It's just months behind, and it just hasn't sent. I want the sent part, and it just hasn't come back yet. So, either way, it's easier to get more long and more interested in like on-chain real-world assets, right? Because they're just sending. C-Pool has been nuts. And this is another one that Crypto Isos freaking spoon-fed me, and I did not bite, frankly, because I don't think you can get it on a North American exchange yet, I don't think. Let me see if it's on Kraken. No, that's it. Bybit, KuCoin, and Uniswap, and Gate.io, which I'm not familiar with. The other one is Ondo. I know a dude who made a 7-figure trade on this one on spot. So shout out to you. You know who you are. But don't hate on the avocados. Ondo's been nuts. This one allegedly is BlackRock, whatever associated. But you talk about like in the now signal. That's white candles in the reversion band. And since that, not even counting the wicks, it's up 140% on spot. So while I could have been building my Ondo bag, I've been messing with Aave. So shout out Aave. Let me see. What are you guys saying? Pick'ems. I still think F will look Wyckoff in hindsight forward. Ooh. I'm still long forward, Mally, by the way. I longed here, stopped out, longed here, stopped out, re-longed here once we were back up and above, and I've just said F it, I'm going to keep it. This is another one. White Coffee. GM was another one. GM had another range. GM, holy cow, GM's up and out. They canceled the Camaro and they're moving up and out. So you're only going to be able to get LS engines in the Corvette. I'll be damned, it played out. I have not been focusing on this at all. Damn it. Damn it, damn it. We had bags down here. So now that the chart has played out as I predicted, right? This is where I get to go on Twitter and start posting. You didn't notice spring or the preliminary support and then all the Wyckoff stuff, because no one's posting GM Wyckoff charts the past year except kind of some of the Rainbow degens. But what I'm saying is now I get to post that here's your SOS. Why on earth didn't you get long down here? Because it was so obvious. Because it's going to do this, right? That's where I'm joking, if you can't tell. And all the hindsight Wyckoff guys come out and they're like, hey, you didn't see this? You're an idiot for not doing this. It's so simple. But they didn't long or talk about it down here. Any guy who's talking about the SOS but didn't talk about the spring, ignore. Ignore. And if you've noticed, check out these order block pivots. This is the tools being agnostic of what I'm thinking of. And it's telling you, there's your support block. There's your resistance block. You can see them stacked. And right now, we're up and out. So, likelihood, like Malifester's saying, we're just going to keep trucking. We'll see. I think GM and Ford follow each other. Ford's a little harder of a chart, but it's still the same stuff. Shoot, there's pivots everywhere on this. Let me go to daily. Oh boy. A little more erratic, but anyway, you guys get the idea. And I'm not talking junk about Wyckoff. Wyckoff works on high time frames. It's so technical. It's so hard. And a lot of people that post Twitter about it for the likes, they don't really trade it. So just keep that in mind. That's another one of those smoke and mirrors, because you start seeing someone talk about like Wyckoff on the minute chart. Like it's just not a thing, frankly. It's a real big red flag for me. And I'm not even very, very good at it. It took me years to even catch some of these things, but in general, with Rainbow Paint, I'm really good at catching Death Wicks to mark accumulation ranges, just because Rainbow Theory kind of started on Death Wicks, so shout out 9K. It's my Death Wick bro, and also Altcoin Sherpa. Altcoin Sherpa is the shit. It's your preliminary support, bam, and then we kind of get into the range. Albeit that range isn't as clean as the others, but regardless, I'm good at. I want to show an example without getting the actual schematics out. Creeks and preliminary support front ends, I'm really good at. Go back to the link. Link's the easiest one. And go to daily. With Rainbow Theory, I'm really good at seeing the preliminary support and the SC. And then it'll start ranging, and then the tools will start painting the pivots, and then I've kind of got my mid to low term. And then I start looking for my creek, because the creek is what destroys everyone. It's easier to see a creek on the Bitcoin 30K accumulation range. This bad boy. I'm good at catching this because this sets a higher high than your previous high, and people go, it's a higher high. Long. But what it is, it's like the mountain for the hill. And then you get your creek off your mountain. And I'm making up terms because Wyckoff charts, as far as I know, don't name that anything, but I call it the mountain. And then you get the creek that goes down the mountain. And then we're back off into typical Wyckoff terms where you jump the creek and then you full send. But the problem is, this is emotional as hell because everyone tries to get long here and then they eat a pullback. 30% pullback after they've already ridden this down, maybe capitulated and then relonged here, and it just compounds their emotions. So don't put your emotions on leverage. And then it starts going up. And then once you get the creek, you can start spotting the SOS. But like I showed you in Aave, I called the SOS wrong. I called it a month early. You can see my ranges here. I thought that was it. And this was choppy enough to me to think, hey, SOS. And then it ended up pulling back again. And now it's kind of moving up. And maybe I'm right now finally, but it's going to cost me months of exposure, funds tied up to get that damn TP for like 40%. But it is what it is. Check the audio. Audio test. Audio's okay for me. Muted? No, it doesn't say I'm muted. Can you guys hear me? Audio's okay. Okay, Bluetooth devices, come on. You're fine. Awesome. Just wanted to check because this is the new microphone. And I have the new sound filter off of the higher end mic that Crypto Data uses. So anyway, that's my Wyckoff rant. It's very hard, very technical. Don't apply it to everything. Study it. It's really focus on the creeks. That's what I catch. Because that's your last entry of the low, and then you can ride it back up into the range. And if you're lucky, it's the SOS and it keeps going. But anyway, we could do real world assets real quick because that is a narrative I think is actually pretty cool, and it translates to boomers because they can think, oh, what's a Doge? What's a real world asset? Real world assets on chain kind of sounds cool. Maybe it's DeFi 3.0, 4.2, Service Pack 9. I don't know. But they're moving hard. You've got your AI tokens, and now there's kind of the real world asset. Thank you, Hot Pins. This stuff's been crazy trucking, and you can do a lot of damage on spot, frankly. With this one, Ondo, C-Pool, and then what was the other one? C-Pool's the one that Crypto ISO's been like begging me to get long. He also told me to buy a bunch of pandas at like $300, which I didn't. But I did get my own custom panda. So, oh, speaking of pandas real quick, short break. If you check this out, this is the PPDEX marketplace. So the pandas actually you can bet points on raffles, and they actually do some pretty cool stuff like Formula One tickets, the Jake Paul fight, Portugal Rally, all these different fights. Hell, a boat cruise with actual bags. If you actually check this out, the Rainbow Trends custom hat and the headset is still being bid, and so far they've put 3.6 million entries of their points on it so far. So really interested to see what happens. If you don't know, this is the custom Panda attribute that we did as a partnership with the Campai guys, and all the winners that get the hat and the headset, they get free Rainbow Trends tools as long as they own that item, because they can technically trade these assets and throw it on their other pandas. So really excited about that one. But that closes in 7 days, and they've already put like 3+ million bids on it, which is crazy. But anyway, back to real world assets. I definitely am not going to buy this up here, albeit Cpool doesn't have a really big exchange listing. So maybe I'm a little more interested in buying it on Pinks, but I really don't like buying in the red bands. It typically pulls back. With that being said, maybe this is my time to get long AI tokens. Everyone's talking about real world assets and some other stuff. Well, AI is going sideways. We had the NVIDIA conference, and Render pumped into that and then fell, but it's been going sideways. So I'm just going to say, I don't want to buy Pinks on Cpool, but maybe it's time for this. Shout out Toxic. I'll check out Weekly, albeit Weekly really screws up Rainbow Trends. Yeah. Weekly's nuts. I'll meet you halfway and go daily. And that's not half. Yeah. That's still sick. Aslan, I'm a big fan of real world assets on chain, but honestly, it makes more sense as a sort of government-run digital asset community custody program with blockchain or some other sort of trust method as a back end. I think car titles and like mortgage titles for houses and stuff should definitely be on chain. Like imagine an on-chain thing for like your Toyota Corolla, and it's got all the on-chain data of like every single oil change and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool. But Render for sure, I think maybe this is the time. And then there were some FET announcements, but I didn't really get to check up on it. But those are like the Render stuff that I want, or the AI tokens. It's like is Fetch and Render itself. Yeah, that's maybe forming a channel walk. Maybe. If you guys are new here, we're actually streaming on YouTube, Twitcher, and Twitch. So trying to balance all the different comments, but looks like the majority of people are watching on Twitter, but the comments are coming in through Twitch. But glad to have you. What's up, Vital? Fetch combined with 2 other coins. I don't even know how that works. Does all the liquidity go into FET, or is it going to get rebranded as another coin? And then one of you guys requested that we look at GRT. They almost got that order block. That's crazy. 23 cents to 40. Jeez. I don't remember what GRT is. I mean, with Filecoin kind of proving you can do like mass data storage on chain, maybe that's another thing too. Yeah, the graph. I don't know this token at all, but it's clearly ripping. But it's going through a color rotation where it just went too hot, too strong, and now it's kind of bleeding out, and then maybe trying to wake back up. And you can see we do have a whale print here, so maybe that's their line in the sand is 38 cents. Maybe. The other one that I'm kind of looking at is Say got bumped this today. I mean, Coinbase actually woke it up and put an alert on it saying, hey, Say is a top mover on Coinbase, even though Bitcoin Cash went way harder than Say today. But that's the one they put the alert on. So shout out for Coinbase algorithm. But the one thing I did notice about Say, because it has not been doing a bunch of cool stuff lately because this thing's known to rip and it hasn't been ripping. Bitcoin went down today pretty hard and Say just kind of shrugged it off. And that was kind of unusual. Normally, in the past, when Bitcoin got skittish, Say nuked. And today, Bitcoin got skittish and Say did not nuke. And I was like, hold up. And then it blipped up to like 90 cents, like real violently today. And then it kind of faded out. But it was cool to see it. Because it went bam, 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 bam. And then it's been fading ever since. But maybe that's kind of the sign that maybe it's time to party again and start posting Goku memes. But anyway, the other one someone posted up way in the beginning, and I don't want to forget, was Sailor. Wow, Sailor's actually on Bybit. Albeit it's not terribly hard to get on Bybit, but jeez, okay. Long story short, this is a lot like the old SHIB charts where this thing just pumped like mad. And you can see it in the volume impulses, and then the volume dies off. That's where you get this bleed section where the whales have exited here or along the way up, and now it's kind of bleeding. With that being said, it's finding horizontal support in your order blocks here as well as your reversion bands, and there's a big cluster of 4 whale prints there where they're defending price action. So you're at kind of the make or break where this forms, it either kind of bleeds out or it barts, or they go for round 2, and they go for round 2, pull it up to some level, I don't know what, and then they roll over again, right? That's what you need to look for. This is how like the old SHIB charts, when you see me posting like the tutorials of how to trade like the old SHIB charts, you got to be really cognizant of these volume impulses, because these type of things, they trade like meme coins, and when the volume's hot, they roll and then they distribute when there's no volume. And the problem is you see all this action and you keep trying to FOMO it while it's slightly discounted. But man, if the whales have exited and left the building and they're not coming back, it can legit just do this for 2 years. Like it's what it does. I can go show you the old SHIB charts real quick. That's kind of what SHIB's doing right now. SHIB's gone sideways and I'm waiting for the second leg, but it hasn't started really yet. It kind of went below the horizontals, but when I talk about meme impulses, there's your meme impulse. If you go back and look at the old charts where we went to like the old SHIB, the actual like all-time high, there's your 2 charts. Impulse 1, Impulse 2 with your bleed, and then your sustained bleed, right? Run it hard, blow it out, go sideways, run it hard, and then you either blow out or bleed out, and this one ended up just bleeding for like 2 years. So, and you don't know, you're not guaranteed that there's 2 legs, you're not guaranteed that there's not 9 legs, like you don't know, but be cognizant of longing this area, because you don't know what's coming next, because it's one of 2 things. It's going to rip or it's going to bleed out in some way. That's really the only option, and you've got your horizontal support, so ride the rip, protect yourself from the bleed. When I say like bleed to green, this is the bleeding to green that I'm talking about. And right now, that's kind of what Sailor looks like to me, and I know it's a meme coin, so I automatically go look at SHIB. And I think SHIB, I really thought it was going to hold here, this level, but it kind of went sideways and went below the sideways. So this kind of got me thinking, oh my God, it's going to bleed out, and I bailed. And now I'm just waiting. I'm going to see if she rips and rolls or not, and then we can go from there. But anywho, that's how I would play Sailor, and it will not be shy. It's not going to do the second leg up with no volume. It'll get erratic as can be. I hope that makes sense, because these are really hard to trade, because these will wipe the floor with you if you time them wrong. That's why they're so volatile and hard to trade. But I hope that makes sense. Up, they have to recorrect, take a breather, and then they either bleed it out or they go up again. There's no in between. And I can try to overlay this real quick on and see if it'll let me print it on the screen. This is the old all-time high. Like, it should look familiar. It's almost the same. It's just that this went a little lower here. So also watch for those well imprints in the volume. Like we want that volume, but the volume hasn't shown up yet. It's the same thing on Sailor. We want to see that volume show up. But anyway, that's your cheat sheet for memes with Rainbow Paint. So if you're gonna trade Sailor and memes, does it look familiar? Like it's the stuff when you start getting really in tune with like trading Rainbow Theory, you can just at a glance look at this stuff and like, oh hey, that's what this is. We're like here on Sailor, but it could just bleed out. If we don't get that volume impulse, we're kind of dead in the water. And when you're talking about something that's riding off of Sailor's last name, it's probably not the future of finance from 5 years from now. Just know that like these meme coins aren't going to be something you're going to be trading in 2032. It's just how it goes. I mean, maybe you will, but like the meme coins of old days, other than like Doge and SHIB, we don't really talk about them anymore. So not a long-term asset to hold. This is just get your rips, get your dips, and then stack more Satoshis. Anyway, we can take a look at ICP. Oh, let's take a break also real quick. Since we're talking like crazy things, this was a real article. Last week, the co-founder of Near was touched on the arm by the CEO of NVIDIA. This is bullish, apparently, now. God help us if he fist bumps the Say team. That's all I'm going to say. But this is a real article that they put out. The CEO touched him. Sometimes I'm really embarrassed of this market. Not going to lie. We got the Bowden memes. We got NVIDIA touching a founder. Is what it is. Also, if you ever see me rocking one of these, you know we've all made it. I just want to let you know that there's a Midnight Purple R34 GTR in the market, and Mally actually saw one of these in Japan the other day, or on his last vacation, and I was like shocked that this existed, like was out in public, because these things are super rare, super beautiful, and would love to have one. That's probably a $100,000 car though, so I don't know if I'd ever drive it. But anyway. Since Dime is posting in the Discord, let me post this up. The website is lookintobitcoin.com. And I will drop that in the chats. And if somebody is watching on Twitter, if you could drop a comment, let me see if that actually works, because it doesn't look like it's working. But website's lookintobitcoin.com, and Crypto Paradigm is starting to look at the Pi cycle top indicator. And this is something that's kind of worked, not perfectly, but it's called quite a few of these tops. And that's when you're basically looking for this orange line, and you can go read all the details here, but blah, 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 blah. Long story short, this one's kind of starting to look like it may give a top signal this year, in a few months. So it's kind of getting interesting is that it may, I'm going to screw that up. It may actually get to the point where we want to start keeping an eye on this. If this crosses, we definitely need to be cognizant. It crossed here at the all-time high. It crossed here at the all-time high. So if this bad boy crosses, and we've got our eyesights on like Q4 2025, we might want to pump our brakes and start thinking about starting to offload some of this and get like some profits out. Pi cycle top indicator on TradingView. It probably is. I just don't ever mess with it. I just go into look into Bitcoin when I want to see it, because this website's really, really clean. So shout out to those dudes, because this is a cool free website. The other thing, hash rate, like I said, it's still trucking. Nothing of concern there yet. We covered the R34. The other one, though, is an actual, well, it's the Rainbow Trends visualization of a tool. The Mayer multiple. Let me hide some of these other ones. If we hit higher, and you don't have to use my tool to see that, but this was the best way to visualize it. If we get above the 2.0 standard deviation on Mayer, I'm really going to start looking for a top. Regardless, if we start looking for $500,000 targets or whatnot, once you start bumping into these reds, you're kind of in your end game. And that's just the way the Mayer multiples worked on every top. And most people don't call the 13.5. This was parabolic as F. And Rainbow Traders actually caught that one within like $200 of a top. I was actually at a client presentation when it happened and my phone was blowing up. It was quite awesome. But same thing here. We start getting into these 2 standard deviations, really getting in. And I know that's a giant freaking window. That's 6 months there. But I'm not going to be blind of it, especially if we pump way up into it and get to like 3.9 standard deviations. I'll tell you this, I'll get nervous if we touch that. And fuck, hell, that's, sorry, cussing, that's $170,000 right now as it lays. And 2.0 right now is already at 85. So, oh boy, maybe we're not bullish enough. Maybe we're not. But we'll see. It's going to take a lot of ass to hit that thing because these are already starting to project up. So get past the halving and then it's got to rip saw and hit these. But I mean, if you project these into like 2024, these are like 200,000 targets, which maybe we get. I can tell you this though, like if the freaking ETFs just keep buying in the billions, number gonna have to go up. That has to be a typo. That's the lowest they've ever seen on Fidelity. Easy BC beat them today. It's crazy. But anyway, I digress. And I'm running out of steam because we're about to go to the Rainbow Discord, if you don't know, where you can see awesome TA like this on the screen. Where you can see Dime post Rainbow Cat memes. But we're going to hop off soon, go into the Discord and hang out there. I'll fire up the charts and we'll set up a stream there and we'll see all you guys there. So anyway, thank you guys for showing up. I'm going to wrap up the stream there with a Rainbow Cat meme. Love you guys. Thanks for calling in. We'll be back to the normal schedule next week. What's it called? Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM or reach out to the OGs in the Discord. They are great. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, showing up, and I'm going to go get a drink and then hit the Discord. If you guys have any questions there, we can follow up, or you guys want to talk DGen stuff, I'm down for that too. But I'll talk to you guys later, and thank you.